Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about how to make your Irish flat picking sound groovy. So what is groove? I found this kind of difficult to define. I think it's because there's so much subtlety and nuance to it. And we can think of it as a rhythmic thing, but there's also a soulful, expressive element to it. And we're not going to try to define those things here. Those are really more spiritual and philosophical questions. However, they are very important aspects of groove. What we are going to do is try to define the rhythmic elements of groove and talk about the mechanics behind playing in a groovy way. This channel is really guitar-centric, but the concepts here are applicable to any instrument and the voice and so on. And our focus here is Irish traditional music. The tune at the very beginning of the video was John Naughton's Reel, or Eddie Maloney's Reel. It's a single Irish reel, a wonderful tune. And stay tuned to the end because I am going to attempt to play that tune with zero groove. And let me know in the comments if I succeeded at playing it with completely no soul or groove. I'll leave it up to you guys, but I am going to attempt that later to contrast. So, groove. I'm going to break it down first of all and kind of define the constituent elements as I see them, and then we'll talk about picking mechanics and so on. So the first two elements of groove are lift and lilt. You hear this a lot in traditional Irish circles, and it's something that's talked about a lot. It's really when we're talking about whether music is lively or not. If it's lively, it's got lift and lilt to it. Lilt I would define as a swing. It's something along the lines of swing, and it's also a spectrum. So lilt, a tune could have a little bit of lilt to it, a lot of it. It's a big spectrum, but if it has none, then you know it immediately. And if you look at this tune on the page, look at the dots, I'll show it right here. All those eighth notes are even. If you played it exactly as written, then your playing would have no lilt to it whatsoever. And by the way, this is why I encourage people not to learn this music from dots or sheet music, and to learn it by listening to other players and developing your ear and learning things by ear. Helps you to learn your instrument better and also helps you to express these tunes in a more soulful way. So that's no slight to anyone that learns from sheet music or things like that, or that reads. I know that reading is an important element for a lot of musicians who, for various reasons. But for this music, I highly recommend that you start developing your ear and learning it by ear so that you can just innately absorb the lift and lilt that's inherent in great Irish traditional music. And so if you look at it here on the page, if I were to play it exactly like that, which I'm going to attempt later in this video, it would sound like da de da dee dee da dum ba de da dee da dee da da dum da dee da dee da dee da, like that. It's very straight and mechanical. And by the way, when you hear players that play extremely fast, you'll hear this in sessions all over the place, and they may not even be that advanced of players, but they can play very fast. It's because they're playing the notes completely straight, which leaves, it allows you to play fast, but it takes all the space out of the tune. The tune cannot breathe, and it removes your ability to put in improvisational elements, variations, ornamentation, and so on. The faster you play, the less of those things you can do, and the less that you can groove. Okay, so if you find yourself in a situation where you're at a session, you try to jump into a tune, and it's just too fast and there's nothing to latch onto, it's not your fault. It's probably because there's no groove. And listen to great players. Even if they're playing at a slower tempo, then the music sounds lively. So lilt and lift give you a lively sound to your playing. I sort of talked about what lilt means. It's a swing, and like I said, there's a wide spectrum of swing. Like I said, this is very subtle and nuanced. So that's where listening becomes the most important thing. But what is lift? Okay, lift, I would define it as a subtle emphasis on the backbeat of the tune, but maybe more to the point, it's a subtle de-emphasis of the downbeat. So think of clapping. When you're at a concert and people start clapping on the 1 and the 3, it sounds terrible. It's like the clapping is like trying to drive the tune, drive it forward and make it faster and faster and faster and faster. When people play like this, that also happens, and the tunes tend to get faster and faster until even the person that started the tune cannot hold on to it because it's gotten too fast. So that would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but clapping on 2 and 4 sounds like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Groovier, right? Now in a reel, so reels are in 4/4, but they're in cut time. So the concept still applies. You can think of it as like emphasizing 2 and 4 or de-emphasizing 1 and 3. But it's cut time, so it comes out a little more like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That third, eighth note in the series of 4 is the backbeat, or the, well, whatever you call it. Tell me what you call it in the comments. I call it the backbeat, or the upbeat. But it's on the other end of the downbeat. So if you're emphasizing the downbeat, the tune tends to drive forward, and it can get out of control very quickly and has no lift. So I would define lift, like I said, as a subtle de-emphasis of the downbeat, which allows the backbeat to sort of rise above the surface, and it gives you that sort of bounciness. You want bounciness in your tunes, bounciness and liveliness. And speed is a poor substitute for bounciness and liveliness. Okay, so that's lift and lilt. Now before I go to the third element, I do want to sort of put a mental image in your head. When there's groove, when you're grooving or someone else is grooving and you join in with them, it's like there's something to grab onto. And you can kind of latch onto a rhythm and settle into it and be able to breathe and be playful with your playing. So imagine like a vinyl record has grooves in it and the needle goes in the groove. Once that needle drops into the groove, it's very hard for it to find its way out of that groove. So a groove in this sort of musical sense is the same kind of thing. It's like a steady foundation that you can just grab onto, and it just kind of carries you through and allows you to be playful and so forth with your tunes. So groove is when you've got something that you can rest into. There's like space in the tune, and there's silence. So that's the third thing, is space and silence. It's sort of the silences between the notes. If you go back and listen to the very beginning of this video, or hang on to the end, and I'm going to play this, I'll drop it in there, the full tune. I think it's 3 times through. But you're going to hear spaces and silences and things like that. It's the space between the notes that really helps you to find groove, is allowing a tune to breathe by having silences and things between the things that are happening. Okay. And the last thing is dynamics. And this sort of ties in with the space and silence. Um, Groovy music has dynamics. There's parts that are loud, and there's parts that are kind of in between, and there's very quiet parts, and there's parts that swell, and there's parts that sort of taper off. And those are placed strategically. By strategically, I mean that your dynamics are helping to emphasize the parts that need to be emphasized and helping to create drama and tension and things like that that want to resolve. And it makes the listener, what's going to happen? What happened? What's going to happen next? Dynamics really help to put a lot of emotion into your tunes, and a little bit more of a dramatic element that makes tunes interesting and memorable and things like that. So dynamics go hand in hand with the space and silence. So we have lift, lilt, dynamics, and excuse me, I almost forgot silence and space. The fifth thing is soulfulness. And like I said earlier, I'm not going to try to define soulfulness. Again, that is a spiritual and philosophical question, but try to think of it this way. Why did you start playing music in the first place? If it was because because of the way that music made you feel and you wanted to express yourself in that way, then that is what you need to reacquaint yourself with. If you started playing music because you wanted to look awesome and have people think that you're amazing and things like that, this video is not for you. You might as well just click off of it. And if that's what you like, then go for it. But this isn't for you. So if you did start playing music because of something that you felt, and you felt it so strongly that it made you want to express yourself in that way, you need to get back in touch with that version of yourself, your true self, that was the reason that you started playing music in the first place. Because groovy music is it's very expressive and soulful. And think more about expressing your emotions through the music than you are thinking about mechanical things, than you are thinking about, am I sounding good? What do other people think? Get out of your head. This is something that we all struggle with. Musicianship is a spiritual practice. And all of us have an ego. All of us have struggles with it in one way or another, to one degree or another. But music is a spiritual practice that helps you to learn how to get out of your own way and just express yourself and play from the heart. And when that's happening, you're not even thinking about anything but just the music and the emotion and everything. So I think that your playing is going to become more and more groovy to the degree that you're able to get out of your own way, silence your ego, and forget about what anybody thinks about you and just express. So that's groove for you. Okay, that was kind of some heavy stuff, but this is how I think about it, and I hope it helps you. I will talk about the mechanical aspects of it briefly for guitar players or anyone that's playing with a plectrum. I did a video a week or two ago about how to flat pick an Irish jig, and I went into picking patterns there. Go check that out if you want to learn about the picking patterns for an Irish jig. But the way that you pick a reel or a tune in 4/4 time or 2/4 time is different, but the concept is the same. Your picking hand is the driving force of your rhythm, and it is the physical aspect of creating groove. with your playing. So a reel, the picking pattern is a straight alternate picking. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay? I never waver from this. If I do, it's by accident. And of course, I do throw in ornamentation and stuff like that. Triplets and so on that, but those are squeezed between the down, up, down, up, down. That's always there. Okay, so your right hand is the driving force, or your left hand, if you're playing left-handed, is the driving force of your rhythm. And so if you think about the way this tune sounds, da dee da dee da dum be da dum dee da da dum. Right? That's down, up, 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 down. Okay? And your picking is what is going to give you both the lift and the lilt in your playing. If you were to play it straight, like it looks like on the page, it's just going to sound like da dee da dee dee da 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 dee da dee da da. Horrible, right? So think of it like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm not doing it very well, but we're subtly emphasizing the third of each group of quarter notes, or de-emphasizing the first, so that that third one jumps out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so it's a straight down, up picking pattern. If you have questions about that, shoot me a message or drop a comment. I'll try my best to answer. Okay, so that is groove in a nutshell. And as promised, I'm going to attempt to play this tune, John Naughton's Reel, without any groove. So here we go. No, that was horrible, right? I couldn't even finish it. That was actually really hard. I'm kind of glad that I wasn't able to successfully play with zero groove, but we tried. So let me know what you think in the comments. And I'm going to finish this video out with a full rendition of John Naughton's Reel. Listen really closely for the lift and the lilt and the silences and the space and the dynamics and all that stuff. Let me know what you think. Happy picking!